We are not talking.
Now.
Hi, everyone. This is Samantha Watt, one of your Thryv experts. Kristen Bahu will be joining me in a second. We're going to answer some of your burning questions about Thryv 3.0. We'll start in just a few minutes. Everyone can plug in. It's Friday. We might have some latecomers that haven't had their coffee yet. If you'll mute your phone with the red mute button, we'd appreciate it. Hey, everyone. I'm going to give it about 1 or 2 more minutes. Kristen can join us. She's helping with the Thryv issue right now. If everyone would hit their red mute button, we would appreciate it.
Bahu on the line.
Hi, Bahu.
Hello, Watt.
All
I'm
right.
going to come down to you.
Okay. That's a good
My
idea.
headset. We're about to find out.
I'll be really impressed if Kristen's headset is wireless far away as she is from her desk.
Oh, it's getting staticky.
Yeah, this is a terrible idea. You're not even halfway. Try saying something, Kristen. Make sure we can hear you.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you. Okay, so we're officially going to start now. My name is Samantha Watt. I have Kristen Bahu sitting beside me, and we are your Thryv experts. Today we are going to answer some pressing questions about 3.0. I know we're all super excited about the new features that come along with it, but it has had some growing pains and some headaches along the way. We have a lot of your questions that we got from you in team meetings over the last few weeks. We'll be addressing those, and then toward the end, we should have plenty of time to answer all your questions live on air, because we're a high production show over here. Okay. So let me pull up my notes. I want to start with a couple of housekeeping things we haven't really gone over yet. You might already know all this stuff, but I want to make sure you do officially. So this is for YP and Dex folks. When we are looking for the Thryv account, like very first of all, how do we find it in Thryv? So go.thryv.com/manage is our platform for going into our client account. And if Salesforce will go any slower, I will show you how to find the Thryv ID now. Because the Thryv IDs, as we found out in our agendas this week, yay, we're all uploaded into Salesforce. So we don't have to go play around with emails and URLs and other weird things to find our accounts now in go.thryv.com/manage. So I'm pulling up Warehouse Equipment Solutions today. And how do I get their Thryv ID? It's going to be on the account level of Salesforce, right here near your account owner, the website, just in this very first section. It's this long gobbledygook combination of letters and numbers, but it is your lifeline for using Thryv. So now I'm going to go to go.thryv.manage, thryv.com/manage, and I simply paste that giant number letter thing into the search tool here. And now we see my account popped up, no problems. I used to have to look this up by like a partial section of their email address, and it was really difficult. One second. Kristen, do you know how to do the tags to get our names on the account? Okay, cool. We're going to show you how to tag yourself, because I actually haven't done this yet, so I'm learning too. How to tag yourself so that in the future you can always pull up your account. So once you have the Thryv ID, you pull it up, you can find it whenever you need it when you pull it up to your account. So look at her. She's editing. Okay. You right-click on, sorry.
Left-click. You just click on the, whoops, go back. Okay, so you click on the three dots. Why are you being, no, stop. Okay, so Thryv ID. Go. Okay, so once you're there, you click on the three dots, you hit Edit Tags, you click next to plus tag, type your name, one word, and then hit Enter. This is the important part. Once you hit Enter, it's going to gray out your name. Once it's grayed out your name, then you hit Save. If you just type in your name and hit Save, it will not tag it. So now once you hit Save, you'll see that Samantha Watt is a tag. So now if you go ahead and type in your name, bam, there you go, Samantha Watt.
Wow, guys, the future is now. It's incredible. Wow, good stuff, Kristen. All right. So if you want to add your name to your account, that's how you do it. The ellipses or the upside down.
All
ellipses.
credit goes to Denver, though, not me. They taught me.
Or Roberto, because I understand he knows too. The edit tags. So that's how you find your accounts. Thryv ID. Label yourself on these tags, and then you'll be able to pull them up no problem in the future. As you can see, Thryv is moving so much faster than it used to. We don't have those circles of doom every time you're trying to pull up an account, so that's awesome. To get into your account, you can click Login As on the top. Cool. So we're all familiar with the dashboard. I'm going to go to our questions just so we don't run out of time to answer all of them today. We're going to do a quote-unquote check-in call next Wednesday at 2. So be sure to join that if you want to go over every tab of the Thryv and see how Kristen and I perform check-in calls. So for our questions, when I'm in the staff section, I'm unable to view all staff, only the main contact, and I'll show you that right now. So in settings, my staff account. This looks different than the client's view actually does. There's just a staff or my staff or something. It's not my staff account. This is a manage level access issue that we're having, so you can't go in and add staff members. If you remember from training and if you've seen your clients' accounts, it's really simple to add staff members. You just pull up that page, and you'll see, actually, I can try and pull this up in my own right now if I can do this quickly. You can see what the client sees. Maybe I can't do it quickly. Yeah, we can. All right, so this is what the clients looks like. Settings, staff. So they'll see in clear view, it'll be very obvious to them how they add a staff member. You literally click this giant blue button that says Create Staff Member. We can't do that on our end because it's a manage account, and I'm sorry. That access may come in the future, but there's no ETA on it. We're not sure if that's just how it's going to stay or if that's going to be something that changes, but you can add staff members here for your clients if you log in as them instead of using the manage version, or you just tell your client how to do it. It's pretty simple, and it's pretty intuitive when the client gets to know themselves. On tab. There we go. So this is our version that we see. From this level, when you're in settings profile under staff, my staff account, you can see who the main admin is on the account. In my case, it's going to be Alan. This is his email address. We cannot change these email addresses. That's another question that we had to cover. You can we were just working on this morning, Kristen and I, you can change passwords for a lot of the accounts. This is an example where you cannot. If you click change password, you'll see current password, and you'll have to know what that is for the client in order to change it. I believe, my suspicion is that means he's already gone in and done this himself and done it through his personal email address, corrected the password. If they have not done that yet, Kristen and I have found a lot of accounts where you do have straightforward new password, confirm password. There's no current password. So in that case, if you see just 2 blanks here, we can go in as the PS and change those passwords and update them for the clients, and that does work.
If not, remember client has to reset password.
Yeah, client has to reset password, and it has to be to that email. If they don't use that email, or that's a bad email for their business, then I'm sorry. I don't know why it's pulling in my personal email on this account. That's a bug. If they don't know the password, then you'll have to put a case into URL to get that corrected. Let me get back into this. I really confused using accounts at once. Sorry. All right, log in. I believe you can also just click that on the first page, and it'll take you to. I like to go to login app. Other question: How do we remove the Connect tab at the bottom of the screen? Okay. So widgets, guys. Let's talk about widgets. So to edit, add, remove, correct widgets, customize widgets, online presence, website widgets, and then you're always going to go to edit, view widgets. And this is where you can customize every single one, and it's going to show you a display of what it looks like live on the site right here. So you know what you're doing, and you don't have to go back and forth to the site to see if it's working or not. Obviously, pretty simplistic. If you click checkbox next to any of these, it'll add it to the site. When you click these, it gives you a few more options on how to personalize what it says, what it does, etc. I'm going to leave these as is. One of the big issues we saw, and I know a lot of you have the information on how to correct this, but don't, the tab here that pops up, it's called the portal invite. So this first bit here, the portal actions, is what we used to know as the widgets or the buttons, and the portal invite is what we used to know as the connect tab at the bottom of the page. So a lot of us, every account that got migrated over started out with schedule. And a lot of our clients were getting appointments booked for calendars that weren't even set up yet. They weren't familiar with how to even use Thryv yet because they hadn't done their check-in or whatever. And contacts were coming through as scheduled. We want to change that pretty much on all of your accounts that don't use a scheduler yet. Go ahead and change it to something generic like leave details, which is a contact form for more information. The client would fill out their details there, and it would become a client card. You can make a payment, share a document. The generic ones I would put on are call or leave details. You can also do custom actions. Custom actions pull from your portal. So if you go in and set up the client portal, you can do some other workarounds for this tab, like putting in their Twitter or their Facebook and having this Connect tab direct them to Facebook for likes, or say like us on Facebook, and then it's a button to click to Facebook. Like that would be a cool way to use it. Those clients are just putting it on call us because everyone wants everyone to call them. So leave it on that. You can change all the text for this from let's talk to whatever kind of flavor text they want it to say, along with this text here as well. You can change the colors and fonts. Here in colors and fonts, pretty self-explanatory. And then lastly, the big question is, how do we remove these things completely? like the client doesn't want these on the website at all, it's been migrated over, we can't make any edits. You can completely remove everything by unchecking all these boxes. Most of my clients are more concerned with removing the talk tab or this bottom tab, portal invite tab, whatever you want to call it, on the bottom on mobile version. And if you click here, you can see what the mobile version looks like. It doesn't include the buttons or the portal actions. It does include this tab, though, that pops up. And it does, in some of my accounts, it covers up phone numbers, it covers up pertinent data. So we want to completely remove it. You're going to click, double-click both of these. Or not double-click, but click them once, and it'll remove it completely from the mobile version. You can also choose to have it save on the mobile view to turn on after, 45 seconds of them being on, or 20 seconds, or whatever would be less cumbersome for your client. Any other questions about widgets? I know there's a lot of customization here. Hit Kristen or I up. We're happy to go through that with you. All right. A lot of questions about the ETA for full migration. We don't have one right now. The lyrics that I've been using personally, I don't use the 5 to 7 days. I don't use that for anything. I've just been saying very soon, and that does seem to work. I don't know, Kristen, if you're saying anything different, but very soon has been consistently working for me. More on that to come, hopefully. I know they're migrating constantly. You'll be able to tell if an account is migrated or not fully. There's fast migration, fast copying the website basically to put it into 3.0, and there's full migration where they're putting all the functionality of the websites into 3.0. And if you go to the site editor, you can tell if a site's fully migrated or not fully migrated by looking at it. Let's see, I don't know if Thryv ID works in here, to be honest. So we're going to find out together. All right, so we have 2 accounts here. You can see the first one is not published, and it was a fast migration. You can typically tell by it says created April 27th. That's when the migration happened, the fast one. And then there's an edit button, preview button, stats button if it's fully migrated. So you can also tell by going into it, you'll only see settings up here. You won't be able to see the rest of the tools to edit the site with. And on sites like this, you can edit slight text edits, as far as I've seen. I haven't even seen where you can make photo edits, so I was told we could do image and text. I've only been able to do text. I haven't seen otherwise. But that's how you tell if it's fully migrated or not. From what I've seen, fully migrated sites still aren't showing up in this link. Actually, this one might. No, it says dashboard empty every time I've seen it. Okay, Kristen says she sent it. Yeah, that's fair. So that just takes me to the main dashboard for all my accounts. So it's basically the same thing as going to, actually that's worse than it was before. Now I can't even see the fully migrated. All right, so for your websites, I recommend going into the editor on a separate tab instead of clicking from websites inside the Thryv portal. We have seen, regarding clients and importing accounts, we've seen a lot of errors with clients duplicating. I know Kristen's experienced this firsthand. Luckily, I have not yet, fortunately. So Kristen, if you want to tell us about that experience.
So I know that whenever you're just trying to, say, add tags or what have you, and then you go in and you read, if you do the to do not duplicate, not to skip, because there's 2 options at the bottom, what it's doing is pulling it in and leaving the old as it is and the new with the correct information. So unfortunately, when I brought this to their attention, this is just a ticket. It is a bug. It's not supposed to work that way. Now, Scott did find a workaround. It did work on his one particular account. It is time-consuming, but you export, you make the change, you then in the Thryv portal delete all of your contacts and re-import them correctly. and they're uploading properly. But you'd have to export, delete all, and then re-import to have the correct information, not duplicate. So it is a couple more clicks, but it can be done. That's the only workaround I have right now other than just opening a ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I encourage workarounds at the moment because tickets aren't being responded to super quickly. So if you can figure out how to do it yourself or want to get with Krista and I to kind of find a solution or workaround, we strongly encourage that. We're available for that.
Hey, this is Drew. I got a quick question.
How do we delete a primary admin? I think we kind of discussed this already. You go into settings, staff, and you see the email here. We can't change it. We can't delete primary admins, even if the business changes hands. The person that's in there is going to be in there because it's going to send emails to them, and they have to respond to those. So open a ticket if that's the case.
And somebody had a question?
Yeah, this is Drew. So when you try to do that trick about removing and re-uploading, what about all the history that was built up with those clients? Is it going to come back?
I haven't physically done it, so I don't know. I can reach out to Scott, who did it on one particular individual. I don't know if the history is being pulled back in, if you will. That's a great question.
Okay.
So we'll have to, I'll get with Scott. I don't think he's here. Scott, are you on the call by chance? I don't have the list, so sorry.
Yes, I'm here, but I've been remote, so I had to figure out how to unmute real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
So did you, whenever you re-uploaded her,
yes,
were you able
history,
to?
when you, no matter what you create, my recommendation is if you were making new custom fields like city, state, zip, and things like that, when you do your export, look very closely at the heading row before you delete anything. But yes, there is a comment section that comes from that primary tab it exports and it re-imports. You don't have to delete the entire list. I was doing onesie, twosies as needed, but I just found it won't overwrite an individual record. So I export, isolate the one I wanted, get rid of everything else, applications, delete that one record, and then re-import that one record. So you can do a series of them, and I've done all three. I've done the whole set. I did a subset, and I did an individual record, and it did bring everything back in appropriately.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Scott. Another question about migrations and calendars and clients, et cetera, syncing for 0.0. Everything, I think, at this point should be synced that will sync. If you're still experiencing issues or missing data, our BA says to please forward those questions as a case to URL management or BA triage. The calendar sync does not bring over the colors from 2.0, however. Social, we had some questions about that, and I brought this quickly because I noticed yesterday that the peak hours were showing as different ones. The question we got was the peak hours were showing all as the same, and we were told to open a case on that. And if you look at this account, Facebook is connected. They have 485 likes. You do have to have, I believe, over 100 likes on the page to get this data, and you can see the peak times for this account. Obviously, middle of the night, nothing's happening, but during the day and at noontime is when they're seeing peak viewership, if you will, or engagement on their Facebook page. A lot of questions about the scheduler and how to make schedules and calendars for different items at the business versus different people at the business. The issue we're seeing is that clients will book an appointment for a moving company, and they'll get an email back saying, Joe will be there at 10 a.m. on Friday. Well, our clients don't want it to say Joe. They want it to say truck will be there on Friday or what have you. And the way to handle that is to create calendars by the item name, not the staff member name. So create calendars like truck 1, truck 2, truck 3, truck 4, what have you, and then you can assign people to those trucks. you can do this with the display name or just by creating the entire calendar that way. Let me go into, well, can't really add staff members to show you that. If we were in a different account, we could add staff members to show you that. But you could add, my name is Samantha Watt, and then put truck 1. And then I believe the display name that you get will be truck 1 instead of staff name.
Hey, Sam.
Hey.
This is Keela. You want to look at one of my live ones that I was just about to ask you this question on? He has an oil change and he has an inspection change, and it's changing it. Obviously, it says you want to have Bob or Mike reach out. So I was just about to ask you how to do this. It's Westchester Cycle. If you want to look at it live, I would really appreciate it.
Do you know the Thryv ID? Okay, is this it?
There it is. That's it. And in his services.
2 services.
Yeah. And see how he's getting service calls over to the right where it says clients?
Mm-hmm.
And he has, I guess, his manager, and Bill doesn't like getting these emails, so he's going to have a service call with somebody.
Gotcha.
Thank
So
you. Yeah.
It's here, and it's showing up to that calendar, to that person, specific staff member.
Correct.
So yeah, it'd be kind of to what we were saying. If he's at an oil change or what have you, and he has different bays for cars, maybe make calendars for the different bay availability. So we have bay 1, 2, and 3, and each one would be, these times are available, these times are full, and don't associate them to staff members. You would have to go into the business owner's account view of this, like we showed earlier, where they can see the staff and add members. Obviously, I can't see it here, but that's how you would handle that, is to make different bays for that company. Does that make sense?
Real quick, go back. I have to have him log in. This is the one where we don't have the access to. I was trying to follow along.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone just asked the same question. So you would have to.
I saw it.
Let's look real quick. So, first step, if we want to try and get into the business owner's view of Thryv, we go here. We see what email is associated with it, because that's going to be your username, and then you can change password. See, in this case, it looks like he's already done the password reset, so you have to ask him for the password. Or
that's
alternatively, do a share screen, but have him log in on his screen and then just take over mouse control, or just walk him through how to do it. You don't always have to have mouse control. This is really their tool.
He'll give me the password. So. He's cool.
Yeah,
Thank you. And then so once I get in and I get into him from his view, then I go to the
staff. Mhm.
Staff.
And create new staff members. Mhm. Yeah, but instead of putting names on those staff members, put the item. If it's a hairstyle, if it's a quick clips kind of place and they don't have dedicated hairstylists for each chair, just put chair 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see. Sites that were secure are insecure. This is happening automatically. It's updating manually. I don't know if there's an ETA on that or if it's been done yet, but I know that's in process of being done, getting all the accounts to be secure websites. Someone asked if we can save drafts and templates into the email box. So when you're doing the two-way communication with clients via the inbox tab, I'm going to get out of Keela's account here so I don't screw anything up there. You can't save different templates and drafts as far as we know. Moving right along. We had lots of OLM questions, of course. Online listings management is very different than it used to be. The content still pulls from the business info and settings, but when you're in listings overview and you don't see it connected yet, you're going to start with Yext listings. And this is exactly how it would be. I'm not going to do it on this one because this is my just personal play around account. But you would start with Yext listings, input their business information, And Yext is going to do the work of pulling in that account and connecting it to the listings. This should already be done by the BA. And this should already be completely done when you get into the account. If not, go ahead and do it as soon as you see it's not done. And then you'll see your listings and reviews like normal. We did have the question as well of review notifications, and Kristen gave me a big cringy face when we found out the answer to this one. You can't get review notification emails anymore like we used to go into OLM and click that setting. Now the only way to get notifications is to, of course, go to your Thryv, look at your dashboard. It's going to be there on the main page of the dashboard every new review you get, but also downloading the Thryv mobile app and getting push notifications. Blog functions. That's a huge, huge client concern is the ability to go in and do their blogs. A lot of our clients apparently do go use the blogs regularly, and that's part of the full migration website editor access. So once the clients, or once all the websites are fully migrated and clients eventually have editor access, I know of 1 or 2 clients that are getting editor access so far, so it's happening. They'll be able to go into the site editor where we were earlier. I wish I had a live site to show you full settings on it, but you'll see blog as one of the options here when you're in the editor. And clients can go in and really simply upload blogs through the editor page. It's not through the Thryv portal anymore. Let's see. A lot of people have asked about creating campaigns. Can we create campaigns without adding a call to action button? And the answer is going to be no. That kind of goes back to the earlier explanation of the portal invite. We want to use those creative workarounds. So if you don't want it to say, you have to pick I'm not going to make a whole one right now, but when you go in to make a campaign, it's going to make you choose a portal action for that campaign. Let's see if this one will show us. This one has claim coupon as the portal action. You can go in and create new portal actions for Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and maybe the Happy Mother's Day message that you send out can be for, please go to our Facebook and like our page for our Mother's Day discount, or whatever the client's, branding would work well with. Easiest option would be just have it go to the website. So all your normal text here, a little photo, and then there's a big button that says go to the website. What client's going to be upset about that? Another question about integration with Facebook. We used to have tabs in the Thryv where we could put our coupons from Thryv into Facebook and other tabs on Facebook. That's just not going to be a feature anymore. A kind of a process question, how do we schedule Thryv consultations? It's the same way we used to do it, guys. We're not doing the Thryv scheduler tool, no matter how freaking cool it is and easy to use. And I lament. The work orders is still how we're going to do our website consultations. You'll go in, create new work order. I know a lot of YPers recently, even some FDEXs are seeing an issue where you can't add the item numbers. This item number here is blurred out. I don't know if that's an issue between YP and Salesforce and Deck Salesforce or something, but if you see that, definitely get that to your soup or get that to a case to Digital BA Triage, because you should be able to have all these items in here. Click what type of call you want to do, and then this should already be functioning in here, but I've seen a lot where item order has been grayed out. That's going to be just an issue you have to put in a ticket for or get to your soup. And then you save, and then it's going to ask you for what dates and times you want to schedule that appointment. But we all know how to do that. We've done that before, and nothing's changing there. BAU. Questions about partial payments and payments that we haven't quite figured that out. Hopefully more to come in the coming months on really detailed things about each individual tab here. But as of right now, we don't really have a good answer for how to send partial payments. I'm sorry. If anyone has figured that out, knowledge is power, send it our way. We'd be happy to share it with the team. Any historical data that was in Thryv 2.0? One question we got was, are we able to access results and email addresses from Thryv 2.0 campaigns? The only data available is what's already migrated in there. If there's data missing that the client has to have, if it's a really pressing issue, put in a ticket. If it's not, just kind of let them know we migrated over. A lot of that data didn't transfer. It might be able to be gotten, but it won't be a fast process. If a client list is updated and not pulling in Facebook data, so two things. The Facebook data for social content should be populating within about 24 hours. And this question is specifically about the client cards. When you add a client in, if they have an email address or personal information that's attached to social media online, and it's supposed to automatically pull in their photo and pull in a little bit more data about them, let you know if they have a Facebook or a LinkedIn or what have you. That should be populating in about 24 hours. Mine's not doing it here. I'm not attached to any social media with this email address, so you're not seeing it here live, but I have seen a lot of accounts where it's pulling in people's Facebook photos, etc. If you have Ty send you an email, you'll see a cool old photo of him. He's not sure where it came from. The way to turn that off, I've had clients that think it's creepy or don't want that, is, gosh, I started speaking before I remembered where to do this. I think it's in auto emails. I think it's at the very, okay, I might circle back around to that. I spoke too soon. I know there's definitely a way to do it. I think it's at the bottom of one of these pages, but I'm going to put that in my little parking lot. How to,
my account.
Yeah, if you find it, Kristen, let me know. There's definitely a way to turn off that linking feature so that you don't see the client's personal, social media information. Might be on client card, actually. Hello. Yeah, client card at the bottom of
thought
client
it was under
card.
settings. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Very
Social
last
data.
part. Yep.
It's a tiny little thing because we don't want anyone to actually do it, but they can do it. Enrich client cards with public social network data. Uncheck it. That's tiny and hard, easy to miss, but that's how you do that.
This is also where you customize what you get.
Oh, yeah. If you want to get specific information, like I know some businesses like lawyers and stuff want very specific questions asked of the clients, you can go in and customize these a lot. You can get rid of these if you don't want it, if you don't care about their industry or what have you. You can change this title to whatever you want it to be, and you can make it required field, keep asking till completed, require it from certain activities that they do on the site, and you can change the formatting of it. There's a lot you can do with this. That'll be one of those deep dives we do in a future call. Back to social for a second. We got a question about social media posts. So if the client goes into social content and looks for populated posts or does the discovery or something, and they see industry posts and they want to post it on their page, we actually had someone ask if the client could pull those pictures and things from those posts and put them on their website or other maybe campaigns. The answer to that is, but it's probably not a best practice because that's kind of like going to Google image results and pulling whatever you find. It's the exact same thing, and we do not recommend that or encourage that by any means. I know a story of a young funeral director, I won't mention any names, that pulled a photo from the internet and put it on an obituary because the client was missing photos, and she got a lawsuit. So anyway, yeah. The next question, when will PSSB be given full access to make substantial changes in the editor? You guys should all be going through training. There's a few of us on the floor, Kristen, myself, Ashley Pena, David Seltzer, some others, that have gone through editor training. It doesn't do us a whole heck of a lot of good yet because the accounts aren't migrated yet. So when we go to website editor, we see what you guys see. And actually, I think when they're fully migrated, everyone sees that. It's just a matter of we've been through the training on how to use them. So if it's fully migrated, get with us. And you guys should have training in early, mid-June, is my understanding. Sorry, I'm trying to read questions. Oh, when will the Thryv system pull in data from their SEMP results, et cetera, into the contacts? This is something that was in our agenda this week in our team meeting, and Kristen and I were talking about it. We actually haven't seen any accounts where it's actually doing that yet.
Mark did. Remember? Mark's account that it...
Oh, Mark's account did, yeah. So we have seen one account where it does that, and I don't know, Kristen, if you know that account so we can show what it looks like. But if we can pull that up during this call, we'll show you what that looks like when a SEMP comes in. It's pretty obvious because when you go to clients or inbox, it's like a string that says, call was 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Or if you can just tell us what it is, Kristen, that'd be cool.
I'm trying.
It's pretty apparent that is a social, an SEMP lead and not just a regular piece of information coming through the website. Something really cool that we learned this morning, shout out Jacob Baldwin, how to add additional email, this is going to be huge, guys, how to add additional email addresses to receive lead information from Thryv. So right now a lot of our clients are getting one email about Thryv getting a notification from a widget or whatever, and it's going to Samantha, office manager, and then 3 other women in the office really need that information, but Samantha has to disperse it. You can actually add more email addresses to receive notifications from Thryv. And you do that through inbox and leads within settings. So inbox and leads, additional emails. So I can add Samantha Watt, 9@gmail.com, and then in order to add more, you just put a semicolon between. I see a lot of questions coming through the Join Me right now, and I can't read them fast enough because I'm reading another page on a different screen. So if you guys could hold those questions, I'm almost done with the ones that come forward.
Oh, get us up, old people.
Oh gosh, guys.
I found it. It doesn't have a name, but you can read it. Whoever's on hold, please get us off. Every time. Well, obviously the person who has us on hold doesn't.
Did that work? Did my note work? Okay, cool. All right, guys, don't put us on hold. Put us on red mute button, please.
Or hang up.
All right. Is this your first conference call? Come on. Oh.
Sorry, that was a joke.
That was just rude. Add extra email. That's how you add email addresses. That was a really good, cool, important piece of information to be interrupted during. What else?
Okay, so I got the image.
Delete.
I don't have an image to show y'all, but so it's going to be in the inbox, and it's going to come through. It says call received, type unknown, length 264 seconds, status answered voicemail, false call record. So answered, and then voicemail. So the status is answered. The voicemail is false. Call recording, and then it gives it a link. So it's going to tell you how long it was and how it went.
Can we turn that off?
So that's another question. He even asked that. That's something I'm going to have to get with the BA because this just came across today. So this is a brand new lead, and I was unable to find a way to turn it off. That doesn't mean so. I'm going to ask the BAs if we can, and we will definitely get that on the next pop that'll come out from Ty or in your bulletin from your team meeting. So just keep an eye out for it.
Is there any idea if it's going to pull in caller ID information?
It doesn't look like it, but I'd have. Is Mark Hayes on the call with us? I'll just walk over to his desk because he didn't give me the account information, so I can actually pull it in there. But Tim, if you want to.
Yeah, Kristen's walking over to Mark right now to see if he's available. I'm out of questions that were already sent to us, so this is a good time to start taking other questions that you guys have had. I know I've gotten a lot of IMs and emails I haven't gotten to see, but if you want to one by one take yourselves off mute and ask questions, we're happy to answer whatever you got.
Hey, Sam, I got a question for you. It's Reggie.
Hey, Reggie. What's up?
So in invoices and sales tab, so when you make a new invoice, you have all these items under the invoice. How do you delete items? Because I have some clients who made like test ones, and there's like multiple of the same item. How do you delete a specific item in an invoice?
A specific item inside an invoice, or like edit an invoice, or delete the entire invoice?
Just deleting a specific item in an invoice. So someone will have like 20 items, but 5 of them are just duplicate of the exact same ones. And he's like, I just did it to play around with, but how do I delete it now?
To be honest, I don't know that you can delete items within. I think you have to duplicate that invoice, archive it, and create it again. Not duplicate it, sorry. Create it again and archive the old one. Kristen, do you know a different answer for that?
I was focused on this. I didn't even hear the question. I'm sorry.
I'm going to write that down, Reggie, because I'm not sure the answer. Delete invoice items, not the entire invoice. Good question. We'll get back to you on that.
Oh, thanks.
Can you delete coupons?
Kristen's laughing.
Yeah, no.
You really can't delete anything. I think it was designed in mind of having everything available. You can archive them, you can turn them on and off, but you don't necessarily want to delete things because you might want to use it in the future. And there's a lot of clients deleting things and then being mad at us that we couldn't retrieve them. So I think that's a safety net for us to not lose any data, if that's fair.
Okay, so back to the call recording. Pretty awesome, guys. Are the leads? So in there, it states the type unknown link status voicemail call recording. If you click the link, it takes you right to the actual call that you can listen to right here through the Thryv portal.
Gosh, guys, that's amazing.
So now again, to answer, can we turn it off? That we're gonna keep looking into. And I don't remember who the guy who asked the question. Did I answer what you were asking?
I was looking at it to see if it pulled any caller ID information in.
Caller ID. I do not show caller ID because if I could send this to Sam somehow, but all it shows a phone number. It gives a name and phone number. So essentially, I guess that would be yes. Because this is what it looks like. Send it to Sam right now. What? Where are you at? We haven't talked today. That's insane. All right, there you go. I sent it to you. So that's the full screen, what it looks like. So many buttons. So I just clicked on it. So I was in the inbox. I clicked it. This is how it populates. So then as you can see on your right-hand side, it gives you his name and phone number. So yes, caller ID. But is Thomas already a client of this individual? I don't know. So I can go look. Thomas.
I have a question.
Yes.
How does it record the calls? Like, if it's not a tracking number, how does it, have a recording that you can listen to?
It's pulling in the data from the SCMP or the ESS or whatever is connected to this account. So it's already at the normal call tracking that we have in our other results. It's just importing it into the Thryv for us, too.
So if they don't have call recording, call tracking, they wouldn't.
So they'd only get this for calls coming from like an SEM or something, right?
Yeah, these are accounts that already have call tracking turned on another program.
Okay. And where it says source Thryv leads, that's completely different from the actual Thryv lead product that we've just come out with, right?
Right, because you can't have an SCMP with Thryv leads.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the source right there on the image on the one on your screen says Thryv leads, but do they all say that regardless of if they have a Thryv leads product or not?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a blanket term for anything that comes in through Thryv that way.
Correct.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, this is the first one, Kristen, I've ever seen. So we're kind of learning with you guys. So the source Thryv leads, moment is a blanket term for leads that come in through Thryv. But I'm going to put that as a question for us to ask our BA.
I had a couple of accounts like that are having this, and they all say Thryv leads on them. So I think that is, I can corroborate that is a thing.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Cool. What other questions, guys? We have about 10 more minutes left, an hour.
I had a question.
Oh, Eric just sent us an email.
Okay. Caller, what's your question?
This is Blake. So I have clients that are used to the old way that contact forms used to come into your email. You could see all the information within the form. Right now it comes in and it says you got a contact and it just gives you the reply button. Is there any way to get the actual data of a form to your email inbox, or do you have to go into Thryv?
Oh, Blake, I'm so glad you asked this question. And I'm sorry that Ty Bishop is not on the phone. Because there are a couple of workarounds for this, right? This is a big issue on a lot of our clients. They don't want to go into Thryv. Despite the fact that, marketing and whoever designed this wants it to be, everyone has to go into Thryv to see everything. Workarounds, we go into settings and email templates. And let me pull up, I got an email from Ty this morning because he was working on this actively this morning because his client didn't want to open up Thryv to see it. So here's my email from Ty that he forwarded me. So this is what the call looks when you submit a form through a widget or action item or whatever. They're always going to, this is the photo I was describing earlier. He said he didn't know where it came from. This is what it looks like. So it pulled in a photo of him. It pulled in a dear, new message from Ty. This is his personal account. That's why it says Dear Ty again. His message was just, I want to talk. Normally this wouldn't show up here. This would just say, reply view client card, go in. But since he added another code to it, and I'll show you that in a second, this is what his email looks like now. So he sees all the data. And on these emails, it does pull out their entire client card. So our client doesn't necessarily need to go into the Thryv portal to see the phone number, the address, the question, etc. from the client. We don't want to encourage them to do this because, again, we want Thryv to be stickier than that. We want, just don't want it to go straight to their email box. We want Thryv to be as useful as their Outlook that they already go into every day. We want Thryv to be like another thing that they like to go into every day to get that information. But we understand every client that doesn't work for all the time. So let me pull out the code that he sent me this morning. This is the example he sent me. To include a message notification on the email. So if you want all the text, and this isn't going to be the same for every one of these auto messages. One second, let me pull this up bigger. Maybe. Oh, obnoxious. I'm working on my small screen. It doesn't let me pull it over. But this is what it looks like. All of these different auto emails that come through, Gosh, you guys are silly. All the emails that come through are all customizable, so you can add what information you want it to say. On his, it said include client card. He added this text, this code here that says, bracket, or whatever, message, whatever text. It looks like this. This is the code that he put into his auto email templates to add the body of that message. You guys can steal that, use that, use the same thing for client card. And all he did to figure this out, and it was a workaround obviously, was he went into other ones here and just pulled what it had in it, the code that it had in it. So he didn't make up this code and go to school for it. He just kind of played around with this a little bit this morning and found it. So there's one in here that says, there's ones that say just client first name. So they're not going to have any more information for our client to use. So you'll want to find the code, and I'll get that out to you guys in an email or something as a follow-up, the code for the message and the code for the client card. So every email that comes through, if you add that code to each one of these auto emails, your client should see that. I know that's a lot of work, but it's a workaround, and it makes our clients happy if you do it one time, and it's set for forever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Can I go? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I have a client that is saying that some of their contacts weren't imported over and then tags are missing in previous conversations. Is that something we can pull from their old Thryv?
We actually have a team dedicated right now pulling as much missing information from 2 to 3. So 2.0 to 3.0. This is a known issue across the board. Team dedicated to capturing missing information. Of course, there is no ETA. There's a bunch of customers, obviously, that are impacted, so they're working as fast as they can to get that missing information over.
If it's something that your clients, just to piggyback on that, if it's something your clients are freaking out about, need it right now, it's, a hindrance to their business to not have this information, put it in a ticket or maybe send it to your supervisor to see if it can get escalated. But they're working on that manually, and I don't know what kind of order or priority it's in, but you might be able to push it up the chain if possible. It's always worth a shot.
Okay, thank you.
What else? Yeah, you're welcome.
This is Robert. I have a question and a couple of questions. One is the import of a client contact list, and I had an issue where we could not, every time I tried to import that list, it failed, or I've got user undefined, and finally figured it out through my manager, Eric Mees, that the format that I was using, even though it said email, first name, last name, and that was the format I was using in the CSV file, and even created a text file image thinking that might help. But I didn't realize, and I found that you need to have the email specifically e-mail, first name, last name. That's the format that was required to get it to import correctly. But it didn't state that in. Yeah. Can you state somewhere that the format needs to be set so people know exactly what they've got to have set up in that CSV file? That would help for people that are not doing this for the first time.
Yeah, and this is literally something I figured out yesterday. You're having to take the Excel example that they have in the portal and copy and paste their information from there to that, because unlike the 2.0 where we would just tell it what it was, this one, if it doesn't recognize it, it will fail. So that was my workaround.
Several times I wasted a lot of time trying to get it, and Eric finally got it figured out. I do have the second question. If you can give feedback along that would be helpful. The format needs to be exact. The second message I have is I have an account, Higher Brothers Plumbing and Heating. He just called while I was on the call with you guys, and I took the call. The website or the widgets appeared on his site. They're not functioning correctly, or they're not going through to his correct email. So I went to go remove them. He wanted them removed, so I went through the online presence, website widgets, went into the edit view, client portal, removed, unchecked those. They're unchecked except for the map. When I go to launch the site, they're still there. They have not been removed. The only thing that appeared was the changes I made in the contact for call us today and the phone number and the sentence. But the widgets are still there on his website. Is that a defect? Do I report it? Do I create a case? What is the situation there?
My default is to say open a case. I feel like I've heard about this happening. Is it an SCMP where they have a .us and a .com? Do they do their DNS hosting transfer
They
yet?
may have to go look into that further. They may be at .us, which
where the DNS issue is happening. You're not seeing it happen because it's pushing to .coms, and we're showing .us and it's like a back end thing. So I would check into that first and figure it out there. Maybe you have a more specific case to open, but it would still be a case to open.
Yeah, but it wouldn't show in the URL when I went to the website. It wouldn't show .us. Would it show it or not show it?
I don't know how to answer that. I just know that I've heard of this widget issue happening because of the
Don
DNS
just
one.
said something. Did you read it? You can just chat and read
Don,
it.
do you want to unmute?
Yeah. Yeah, I just did .us. I removed .com, placed .us, and the widgets are gone. They're not there under the .us, so it's a .com issue.
Right,
and
so this
something?
is what Don said. He said, my understanding is that if you made widget changes on the back end and they are not showing, that is due to the DNS not being updated. And then Chris Welch says he's correct.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so I need to do a case.
Correct.
So I need to do a case for this to get it updated. Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Well, we just hit 11 o'clock. I don't have anywhere to be, but
I do.
If you want to send us your questions, I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer and answer more questions, but Chris and I are always available.
Okay, this
Anything else?
is Drew. I got a quick question.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at ways to filter clients in their client card, is there a way that we could export their client list and it show which ones have social or not?
Which ones have social, meaning that they're like
we
pulling in
like
social
we
data,
tagged,
like
we pulled in
photos?
social data. Yes.
I don't think that's a detail option to see. That's a good question. To be honest, I haven't pulled an export yet to see. I do know I have an account that has social connecting on it. See people's Facebook photos and stuff pull in, so I'm happy to do that as a test for you and see. But I don't have.
From what I can gather, it's not pulling in. So I'm wondering if that's something that can be added to like a filter for when we export into Excel. It would just be like a wire end type situation.
Okay, I'm going to go with a no right now, and I don't know that that's on the roadmap, but I'll ask RBA, see if there's more information.
Okay.
Good question. Anything else, guys? Any pressing questions?
Hey, Sam.
This is Robert. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Hi, guys.
Okay, so I have a question regarding listing management. I have an account where all the listings, like it went through with Yext, but all the listings are either unavailable or opted out automatically. Is there a way to fix this? I made a case, but it hasn't been touched.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be my answer. Anytime you see tech errors like that, it's going to be open a case. I would double check their business information and see if there's anything that is incorrect, because Yext might have hold up on it, like we used to see in 2.0 a lot. Business addresses would be wrong, things like that, where they couldn't pull in
I did see there's like a if you hover over the little question mark next to the unavailable, it says
Uh-huh.
we're unable to locate your address, but I double checked it and I found that it was the correct address, so I don't know how to get around that.
Yeah, and I know that's super annoying if you're waiting for for URL or Digital BA Triage to respond to the case. I know they're super backlogged. Things like that one-off kind of stuff, if it's really pressing, you can always send it to Kristen and I, and we can see if we can get like a quick message to a BA and find out an answer for you, because it might be something really easy. But the case is the way to handle that one.
Okay, so it's just a waiting game for now.
Yep, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Robert again, and just question and follow up on social content. Some accounts had Facebook and were publishing that. In the old 2.0, it's pretty straightforward. What was scheduled in a list, what was published, again, see in a list, and easily even deleted. But you could go in and create your new or delete or add Facebook posts. Now, I've noticed some accounts, it'll show that the social content is there. So you go into content and it'll show that they've got some stuff scheduled for May 30th for both Facebook and Twitter. And then I have the other account I pull up. There's nothing there. It's to import or link. So is this related to the fast migrated or fully migrated situation where the accounts are still waiting to be completely fully migrated of everything that they have?
I see. So the Facebook's not even imported yet. The Facebook, like.
Say that again. I didn't hear it.
You're saying like the Facebook's not even showing any here, like this.
Right. It shows link to the Facebook page. Yes. And in some, they don't show the content.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
can pull it in yourself if you're an admin on their page. So if you go in FBM and add yourself as an admin, you can link it. It's just probably that they haven't put in tips yet for it in the 3.0 version. You'll see that on older accounts that, 2.0 accounts that have year-long tips like the pluses, because they're not going in and adding social tips in the 3.0 and connecting Facebook and all that jazz until they have to write new content for that page. Does that make sense? Because they're not linking the Facebook and adding the tips until that step happens.
Thank you.
If you want to see the data, I'd go ahead and add yourself as an admin and link it yourself. And then when social gets ready to write tips for that page, they'll go in to 3.0 and add tips at that point. And you'll see those.
Well, would social just go in, even if I haven't done it, would they go in and add that automatically for the tips?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's what accounts have been linked and have posting already. I think that's part of the migration.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. With that, I'm gonna hop out. I see another question. I'm gonna hop out. I'll answer any other questions offline. This call has gone on a little bit over time, and I'm gonna have I included a recording of it in the POP, and Matt included a recording in WTH for YPs. Hit up Mahu and myself with any questions. Going forward, please include the Thryv ID number found in the top half of the Salesforce page. Thanks so much. Have a magical Friday.